Hi there, Dr. Brian here on Tuesday evening on take number 2. Rather annoyingly, the Bluetooth earpiece completely garbles the sound, which I have a feeling is to do with sugar panting in the background. Anyhow, a quick recap. Memory is an interesting thing. It's created around meaning and emotion. So emotion for us and meaning to give it relevance. That's actually the work of the man who wrote Cracking the Learning Code. And I can't think of his name right now. Not an emotional enough moment. And then it actually creates neural tissue that actually stores that memory in the memory part of the brain, in the primitive brain down in the amygdala. And then when we have a memory and we recall it, although it's actually stored physically in tissue, in some neural tissue, we pull it out and we pull it through our current filter. So examples of that that we're all aware of is that we will romanticize and have nostalgic feelings about, say, our teenage years or even early 20s. And certainly it's the most exciting time and lots of great stuff happens. But I think it's also a fairly torturous time when pretty revolting stuff happens, when you feel unsure of yourself, and you're probably very fortunate if you had a seamless teenage life where everything was perfect and you never had to question yourself. And so we idolise the music of all those times, and the music is often to do with good times and having fun. That's why I remember it well. But then nostalgia is the idea where we cherry pick actually all the really good stuff and classically, clothes that we didn't think were cool at the time, actually we can't wait to get our hands on. So nostalgia is a very interesting phenomena where a whole society will actually really love music from an era in their life when it seems, looking back, that it was better than it is now. Though at the time, you probably were looking forward and thinking that where we are now would be way better than where we were when we were 25 or 30. So, and probably when you were 15, you thought that 30 would be the pinnacle of achievement. So the other instance where it's obvious that we pull memory through perspective is the way that we often view history, our own history, but often the history of our nation or let's say our nation. And we have great disapproval of the activities of our forebears viewed through today's lens. And we just think that they had made unconscionable decisions that were just immoral and wrong in every way. Yet those people were often highly moral and highly thoughtful. They spent much time deliberating over their decisions. And in that era, with the standards and with the knowledge they had, they were, to the best of their ability, making decisions that were considered the best for everyone, not just for a select few. And so it's quite interesting that we often have great disapproval as we look back at someone's behaviour, yet others will look back at us in exactly the same way. Someone else will decide that they have a higher sense of morality in the future than we do today. And the things that we do, that we consider to be the pinnacle of moral judgment, will actually be viewed by others as the depths of immorality. And that's quite interesting to think about, that the things that we deliberate over and have great judgment on, others will look back at us in exactly the same way. So that's a little bit sobering, because sometimes we just assume that we are as good as it'll ever get, and hopefully we're not. The laws of the universe would suggest that we're all constantly on a state of improvement and evolution. Just going to get rid of that stupid reminder. So, memory is relative. Memory is not perfect. Memory is always pulled through the current perspective and perspective, yes. And so you can look at the memory in 2 weeks and it'll feel different because you've seen a documentary or read something that means you've changed your opinion and judgment on something. So now it actually looks quite different. Now, on a neurological level, it'll actually pull different chemicals and those will be attached to the memory. So now the memory might seem soured rather than initially it was joyful, because you've now viewed it in a different way. You've decided that there was some sort of inappropriate bullying, or that you've been told that that behaviour was bullying, so it's very hard for you to disconnect that, and now you view the whole thing differently. So, interesting stuff. I'm fascinated by how the body works and how our perspectives are constantly evolving. And so they should, because we should all be in a state of constant growth. So we're not the person we were last week. We're actually different every week. And we should be growing and improving and making more of ourselves so that we can contribute more. So that in the biblical sense, we're not hiding our talents. Don't put your light under a bushel. Don't hide your talents. Don't bury your talents, but actually make them grow so you can offer more and be more. So using memory as a tool and experience as a guide, we should be able to be more and offer more over time, and use a strong, healthy body as a tool to help you be more, because you can't offer your best if you're operating in a body that's sick and painful. So my belief and my experience and my observation with the clients I work with is that when we get them into a higher state of well-being, they're actually able to operate at a different level and often have greater compassion and contribution because they're not as focused on their own discomfort. Now there's an interesting concept. Health allows us to be more and contribute more and be more, offer more value to the community that we live in. Sugar thinks it's true, and it's time to go west and complete the evening. So I'll offer you all the best. I trust you have a good day Monday, Tuesday tomorrow, Wednesday for us here. We're sort of beating you to it. Apart from New Zealand, they do it first. Okay, I'll speak to you soon and trust you all have a good evening. Bye for now.